Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Wilford.
And I'm Sarah Furman.
And today we're going to be talking about parents needing love too.
Yes, so important.
What we find often when we counsel couples is that it's so easy when you are raising a family and you have kids and you're a parent to put off doing things in your relationship to make things better.
Even if you don't have kids, between your work, your life, your boss, your office.
You're forging ahead in overdrive.
Yeah.
You're forging ahead in overdrive. You forget your own needs and you forget the needs of your spouse.
Absolutely.
And when that happens, it's like you're serving up bits and pieces to your partner. Crumbs. They get the crumbs of you rather than getting the whole part of you.
Right. Because you keep thinking you have time.
Mm-hmm. Right. And when my kids are older, then I'll pay attention to the relationship. If I just get them through this project, then I'll be romantic with my partner. Yeah. All those kinds of things.
Just these few weeks, just this project, just this thing,
Right. And crumbs are never a way to sustain a relationship. Right. So what we find often happens in couples is they end up putting...
You're always hungry.
Yeah, you're always hungry eating crumbs. What we find is that it's like you're putting a Band-Aid on everything. You're giving quick kisses in and out the door, if you're even doing that. And intimacy flies out the window because you're always dealing with kids' needs.
Unwanted diet.
Oh, wow. Like an unwanted diet. Yeah. That's totally true.
And then you're always hungry.
That's totally true. And so everything ends up being put off and there's no maintenance in the relationship.
Right.
And Sarah has a great analogy talking about relationships are like rose bushes.
Right. If you don't take care of them and give them attention, they die.
Right. And when it's extra hot outside or extra tough in your relationship, you may need to add a little water or a little food, do a little extra tending to your relationship.
Right.
But today we're talking about watering the relationship and tending to the relationship. Yes. That's what today is all about.
Yes.
So we came up with some things, 6 simple strategies that you can use that can help you tend to your relationship and get back some of that loving feeling that you probably once had when you were dating or before you had a family.
And this is really important, that you have this scheduled into your life, because all those other things will always be there.
Yeah.
So you, like when you were dating, when it was the beginning, you made the time no matter what other stuff was happening. And you still have to make the time now. Sometimes you need to have those windows of
couple time, of parent time, where you're husband and wife again, yeah. And not just the parents to your children.
So that you don't forget who you are with each other. Otherwise, you lose each other, and it's so hard to come back.
Right, and a family is only as great as the parents are good together. You know, when the parents aren't doing well together, the family doesn't do well.
Because the kids are like kind of off, and you have more trouble.
Right, and you're not working as a team. So these are some things that'll help you work as a team.
Yes. And
get back to tending to your relationship as husband and wife.
Yes.
So we have 6 of them.
Let's start.
Number 1 is assume positive intentions.
Yes. Oh, this is such a big thing. People always, like, when we see couples, they're always assuming that their partner is like acting from the worst place. It's
right,
like,
and doing the most negative thing with an awful intention. And you have to remind them that probably they weren't thinking such terrible thoughts.
Right. I mean, it's true they could have been, neglectful or not thinking, or maybe the thought behind it was something different.
But it probably wasn't vindictive. It probably wasn't hateful. And the truth is that most arguments in couples that we see start because one partner assumes negative intentions about the other partner.
Yes. And that, if there's one thing to change first, is assume positive intention. And even though your head is going to go, oh yeah, they probably blah, 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 you want to like stop,
fight it,
let's breathe, okay? And if it wasn't that, but if it was just positive, if they meant something good, I'll ask. Remember, you have words. You're human. You
can
adults.
Communicate, and you want to find out, did they use the best possible intention? Because they probably did.
Right. So they may not have done it the right way. Other stuff might have happened. It's correctable, but you assume that it was from a good place,
right.
or at least a thoughtless place, but not a bad place.
So first of our strategies that we want to implement for you guys is assume positive intention.
So grab that pencil and paper right now and write that down.
Number 2 is a quick one, and it kind of goes along with positive intention, and that is if you and your partner are not on the same page. Because that happens sometimes. You're busy with your kids, you're doing one thing, your partner's working all day, they don't know what's going on. And this one is act as if.
Right.
So it's like fake it till you make it. It's kind of true. If you want to feel better about your partner, act as if you really are working on the same team.
Yes.
and like you really are partners. And it will be amazing to you how just a simple shift in your attitude can really change how well you actually are working together.
So when you started out in your relationship, and even for quite some long period in the very beginning, that's what you were doing. You didn't know each other, but you acted as if you did, and as if things were okay, and if you were sort of on the right page. And if you weren't, then you know, both of you sort of self-corrected. Or not, I don't know if corrected is the right word, but
Self-adjusted.
You know, thank you. That's a better word. Adjusted.
And so number 2 is act as if.
Yes.
Number 3 kind of goes along with remember what you were like when you were first dating, because this is a big one and people forget this all the time in couples. And that is you want to be your partner's biggest fan.
Biggest.
As in number 1 cheerleader, as in I don't think there's anyone greater than you.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, when you show your kids that you're your partner's biggest fan, the whole temperature of their family gets better.
Yes.
And families
By
feel
a
better
lot.
by a lot.
Yeah.
Because you want to be thinking about working as a we couple, first of all. Hi, Jenny Sprang. Thanks for joining us. You want to think about being a we couple, first of all, not just an I couple. And then think of being your partner's biggest fan as far as telling them the things that they do right, sharing with them when things go well, and really showing your kids even that you are your partner, you're their biggest fan.
Because when you accent the positive, it's amazing how many more things become more positive,
Right.
and become easier. And
then your children learn that that's the thing we do in our family. We speak well of people that we love.
And we encourage the things that are going well.
So think about if you were in your marriage right now, when you came home and your partner said to you, honey, you did a great job today at the office. I really appreciate everything that you're doing and your commitment to our family. It seems like you're really working hard lately, and I really appreciate that. Can you imagine how that would change the temperature of your relationship? The next one is number 4, is bite your tongue. I also call this don't bite the hand that feeds you. So many of us, I had a house guest over the weekend, and I'm a really good host. I will not lie. I cook all the food. I make sure that everything's nice for them.
So humble.
And I know that I do really well. But I will tell you, I found myself being extra courteous to the house guest, and it made me check myself to wonder, am I being that courteous to my partner?
Right.
When they need something, can I get you some coffee? Oh, can I get you something to eat? And I thought, wow, I need to complain less.
Can you imagine if you were doing that?
I know, it would be so much better. I need to complain less, bite my tongue a little more, and really think about when I say things to my partner, am I being the most courteous I could ever be? So instead, what we suggest is if you start to say something negative to your partner, bite your tongue, count to 3, and don't choke to death. Okay, number 5, we're almost at the end. Number 5 is stop blaming.
Blaming so doesn't work. Not even in accidents. We're in California.
Right.
It's no fault. But still, we have this idea that if we blame somebody, then it's their responsibility to fix it. And one person cannot fix a relationship.
No, and they can't fix the
happen.
problem. And we think because we've laid blame on our partner that somehow we solve the problem.
It's your fault.
Right.
So how does that solve anything?
Right. Even if it is my fault, how does that fix anything?
It doesn't fix
Because
anything.
blame is not a solution.
Right.
Blame stops communication. So if it's your fault, I don't have to talk anymore.
Right. Or you're just going to raise your voice and keep blaming and you still feel like you feel empty and like nothing's happening.
Right.
It's nothing happening because you haven't said what you need and what you want.
Right.
You only said what you don't. And blame is like.
We want blame to make us feel better because for like 5 seconds it says it's not my fault. But the truth is it doesn't solve anything.
It's like rubbing sandpaper on something.
Right.
But you keep rubbing the finish off and now you just have a hole in the finish and you have a hole in the relationship and you still have no solution.
Absolutely. So instead of blaming, what we suggest is communicate more, talk about your accountability in the problem, and just remember that because you blame, it won't fix the problem. You still have to go back. Right. Even if it's not your fault, you still have to go back and fix the problem.
So what are some things we can do different? How could it work? You didn't realize. How can we help you realize better? In a number of hundreds of different ways to present that, but blame by itself
ain't gonna work. Now, this is number 6. This is our final one. And that is check the temperature of your relationship often. Some people say check in often. it's really important to ask your partner every now and again, how are we doing? Not how are you doing? Not how are the kids doing? How are you and I doing? How's our relationship?
Right. So you can be angry. You can have disagreement. You don't always have to agree on everything. And it may be that we're okay. I just need some time because I don't like what you're doing. Or
Right.
We're doing it this way and I've agreed, but I'm not happy with it. I just need some time or whatever, or we're getting through something, but we're okay.
Right. And I know that when this kind of goes along with check the temperature of your relationship. And when it's hot, the temperature of your relationship, things aren't going well and you're arguing. I find myself having to say to my own partner, look, I don't like you right now, but we're okay. Meaning the relationship is not going to decay. It's not going to fall apart. I just don't like what you've done. I don't like how you're behaving right now, but we're still good.
Yes, I really want you to hear that, because it's so important to be able to say to somebody that something that's happened isn't okay, that I'm not okay with something that you did, but we're okay. When you don't do that, your argument, your
feelings get invalidated,
all of that escalates. And man, you're having an argument for 3 hours about arguing about the arguing,
right.
about the arguing about the tone, and you sit in the word, and at the end of it, you're not even sure how you got there. And it's because we're hurt inside and we don't know that we're okay.
Right. And that we're going to still be married at the end of this argument. I may not want to talk to you for an hour, but we're not going to get a divorce.
We might even talk for a day.
Right.
We're not going to get a divorce. We're going to get through it, and we're going to come to terms with it. And I mean, just because you have an argument at work, you don't leave work all the time.
Right. Could you imagine? My boss sent me a bad email. I quit my job. Exactly. That's a great analogy. Because in a healthy relationship, remember, both partners get to have their feelings validated.
You're two different people,
right,
working together as a team, and yeah, you're going to come from different
come froms
and points of views and stuff like that. It's okay.
And when you say to a person, I'm angry right now, I don't like how you're behaving, it's great because I get to be upset.
Right.
I get to let you know that you're still my partner. I just can't deal with what's happening right now.
I need some time. I need to figure it out. I need
some space.
Okay.
I need to get away from you. Whatever it is, but knowing that I'm going to come back to a partner in a relationship.
Right. And this idea of I'm going to get away from you, but you don't say, but our relationship is okay, is like, oh my God, what does that mean? So when you trigger all these things, don't think that, like, well, I didn't do anything. I just said I was taking some time. No, when you say I'm going away and you're not saying I'll be back in half an hour, I need some time to like settle this or whatever, you trigger the other person.
And you abandon them and you cause them to get outraged.
Right.
So when you do leave, it's important to say, hey, I need some time away. Like I'm renowned for saying, I need to go to my office. I need some time in my office at my home, and I'll come out when I'm ready. But we're okay.
But we're okay.
But we're okay.
This is real important. We're okay.
Right. It just assures your partner you're not getting a divorce and that your feelings matter, and so do theirs.
Right.
So those are our 6 simple strategies.
I want to remind you again that sometimes you think like we're just saying this and it's easy. We understand because we've done it ourselves.
And we've coached our patients through it.
Yes.
We've done it in our own relationships. We've done it with each other.
It takes practice. It is awkward. You practice. Sometimes we get it right. Sometimes we only get it partially right. We keep adjusting. And over time, it gets easy, and it's an easy habit, and it's way easier than dieting. That was a great thing I said earlier.
Yeah, it was a great thing.
Oh my God, it is so much easier than dieting.
And you get better results faster.
Better results, and they last longer. Really, they do.
So if you're going to reboot your relationship, get back some of that loving feeling that you once had, you've got to do like Sarah said. You've got to do some things differently, different than you did them in the past. And you're going to have to test out some of the strategies that we gave you. And we'd love to hear from you and see what strategies you're using or how our strategies might have helped you.
Right. You know, what happened, it worked, because we've been there, we've seen so much, we've
lived it.
Yes.
We've absolutely lived it.
Yes.
So we hope that helps. And if you'd like to learn more, you can find us here at couplesuccess.com online or here on our Facebook page. Leave us a comment.
Yes.
We'll see you on the other side.